Are you new to chess and want to improve as fast as possible? Well, I'm a 2000 rated chess player and I'm going to teach you all of my secrets. I'm going into the pool as a 400 rated noob and I'm going to show you how to win through strategy and not tricks. We've got a juicy 500. I'm going d4, but he's letting me go e4. So you know what? We're going to take full control of the center because he's allowing it. Now, King's Indian. Hi guys, it's me from the future. King's Indian is a popular defense for Black in response to the move d4. Black's strategy is to build a fortress around his king by castling and bringing the bishop right in front of where the king will land on g7. This is a very solid opening, but it's very difficult to play when you're new to chess because it's pretty passive. Right now, I'm going to punish it properly by making just the most active moves. The easiest way to find active moves is to ask yourself two questions. Number one, what piece have you not moved yet? Like in any battle, you want to bring in all of your troops. And number two, what is your worst placed piece? When you don't know what to do, just improve the pieces that have the least squares and room to move to. I'm gaining all the space in the center. If your opponent's letting you take space, you should absolutely do it. Even though I wouldn't advise a queenside castle to a beginner, castling is one of the two special moves allowed in chess where you can break the rules. The king travels 2 squares left or right, and the rook jumps by his side. Castling is a top priority in the beginning of the game, because this way it's less likely you'll get checkmated if your king is safe. If you have king safety, it's okay to do an opposite side castle. I've got my pawns, I have my knight, and I have my queen. And now, my plan to attack on his king is very clear. Which is why a move like this is one of the more forcing moves I can do, and it's also very natural. And from here, I'm going to continue with my plan of developing all my pieces. Even though when you have your own attack, ask yourself, what is my opponent's attack? Don't get so focused in on your attack that you forget to stop your opponents. So what is my opponent planning with this move? Well, he is threatening to push b4 and attack my knight. What is my knight defending? Always check on the pieces that are running because they're sometimes defenders. Well, my knight's defending this pawn, which is under attack, therefore I'm going to defend my pawn. Now, a lot of these moves are really natural, but they're all connected. I've got a lot of threats if he doesn't play correctly. White has great center control because he did a more passive opening. Maybe later at some point I'll push this here. I also have a very clear plan of attack. When you've improved all of your pieces to the best of your ability, so that would mean taking out these guys as well, then you can start to launch a very aggressive attack. So I already know my plan will be to try to push this pawn and open up this king side. So first, forcing moves, captures. Well, I could take this with either my knight or my pawn. It is defended twice. How do I feel about this trade? Take, I take, I take, I take. Nothing amazing is happening. What are my other more forcing moves? Well, I could push and attack the knight. Where is the knight gonna go if I push? To the side or backwards? If it's early in the game, this is move 8, and you have to bring your pieces backwards, that's not a good sign. Chess is very natural. You want to progress forward, and you want to take the space that your opponent gives you. So I'm gonna take the space. Now, if they misplay here, and they go here, g4 is a very natural move, and it's gonna trap the knight. If they come here, they're blocking their bishop, and if they come here, they're just disconnecting their pieces, so it's really not great. And now, because this is a principled game, I'm going to continue to my development, and I'm going to develop my bishop. Maybe because I was trying to cheese the beginner, I would just go straight for this pawn push and threaten mate, but I want this to be educational. So I want to bring all my pieces into the game before I launch war. Now, what is he doing? I have a great position, but I'm not forgetting to ask myself that question. Well, he's attacking this pawn with his knight. I need to defend this pawn. How can I do that? I could defend with my queen, moving it here. I could defend with my knights. Now, if I defend with my knights, I'm taking this square away, but this guy can always run here. And I don't want to bring this piece backwards. I would much rather activate a new piece, so I'm going to activate this knight. In beginner chess, a great way you can just improve is trying to get pieces out you haven't played and not moving the same pieces that have played. So here, it was very easy for me to decide which knight I should use to defend the pawn. And yes, there's threats where they could attack it, but this knight I can repurpose it elsewhere, whereas this knight was just disconnecting my rooks and kind of holding my pieces back. Now that all my pieces are ready to play, I can start being very aggressive. What is this knight doing? Well, he's attacking this pawn, he's attacking this bishop. Both are defended, and I can't really avoid this bishop trade. So I think it's time to start launching my attack. I'm gonna start with this pawn move because I wanna activate all my pieces. All right, he just blundered. He didn't double check, he didn't sit on his hands, he didn't do what I would teach the kids. So we're just gonna take. I still have a very lethal attack, but it was good for me to check if I was defending this beforehand. You can still blunder when you're winning. Even me, a 2000 player, gets too confident and throws games all the time. Always ask yourself these questions and keep this pacing. I think the purpose of this, he's trying to unravel his pieces because he's pretty tied up and really behind in development. So if I take, I would be helping him activate his pieces. Huge beginner mistake. Taking things just because they can. I see a pawn, why not take it? But then ask yourself, well, is it really bad if they take? Well, in this case, it is because this is a free pawn, but I could take this bishop and remove the defender. So I'm going to continue with my attack. Now, don't get nervous. I know my clock is ticking, but I have increment. But beginners love to take pawns just because they can. It's fun, you know? You feel like you're accomplishing something. But to get better at chess, it's actually way more valuable to realize when you shouldn't be taking things. Now, I want to get this pawn in. Okay, I'm going to have to shut up, and I'm going to have to play some chess. This is a beautiful sack. I have the most forcing move. All my pieces are going to come to play perfectly. My rook, my queen, my pawn. You shouldn't sacrifice without carefully checking it, but I've done my puzzle rush. So now my plan to mate is simple. Well, he's creating more weaknesses in his king, which is going to make it even easier, actually. But I want to bring the queen here, and I would like to checkmate here, ideally defended by my knight. But look how all the pieces are helping each other here. All right, that was actually a very nice move, attacking my queen, preventing my plan. I think they're asking themselves the question. But now I have a new threat, which is this check, and then he'll have to defend by pinning one of his pieces. They could take, but if he takes, he opens up the file on my rook. Check. He only has one move now to block with his rook. Getting a little dangerous. He blocks this way. Oh, actually, a way I didn't consider. Nice. But I'm gonna attack the pinned piece. A pinned piece is a piece that if I were to magically remove it from the board, it would unleash an enemy's attack on its own piece behind it. In this case, the rook cannot move because then the king will be in check. So my opponent has no choice but to give me his rook. Just blundered a piece, but it's not easy to defend. There's a lot of pressure. All right, all the moves came really naturally. I just followed development and I didn't get really aggressive until I had taken out all my pieces, which if you can take away one thing from this video about developing your pieces, try to get all of them in the game before you push and trade pawns. And I promise you, those pawn moves will be there later and they'll be even stronger because your pieces will support them.